Wilson with Insulite Health, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. You know, today is Tuesday Tip, and I just love getting together with you every week. It's really a special time for us, and it's a time for us to understand what's going on with our bodies and to take action, right? Something I learned recently, which is so cool, is that when you problem solve, you actually become happier. How cool is that? So I'm all about figuring out ways to become happier because then we love our lives, right? So again, it's so great to be here with you today. Today's topic is hair loss and how to reverse it. Yay! It's a great topic because it's so devastating for women who begin losing their hair, right? And sometimes it comes out in clumps. You can lose it really fast, actually. And, you know, our hair is our identity. And we don't really realize it until we start losing our hair, how important it is to our sense of well-being. So I'm very excited to talk about this topic and share some great information that I've learned along the way. And so many women, both women who have worked with me one-on-one and also women in our powerful community, have experienced hair loss and have stopped it and reversed it. And now they have actually gorgeous, beautiful hair. And it doesn't have to take very long. So I'm very excited to share some information with you about it today, so you too can stop losing hair and start regrowing your own hair, right? How awesome. So I would love for you to say hello. You know, where are you from? You can share your biggest health concern if you'd like to, or you can share a celebration just by being here. Maybe you're super excited. I just love to hear from you. Please be sure to like this, to share it with other women who you know might benefit. You can comment anytime, so whether you're listening right now or whether you're listening later to this video, you can comment and we'll be sure to follow up with you and comment back. All right, so welcome everyone. So I'm just gonna jump right in here and I would love to see your comments as we're going, so you know, please feel free to comment. Yeah. Hi, Karen, welcome. Hi, Diane, so great to see you here. Oh, just love seeing you all here. It's really awesome. Okay, so the bad news is that your hair is thinning, right? Sometimes falling out in clumps, and it's so discouraging and devastating. But the good news is that it's completely reversible. It's not, I mean, it's like a lot of the symptoms that we have. They're reversible. You know, never think that they're not. They're absolutely reversible. That's the really cool thing about your health, is that it can go south, but it can also go north, right? And it really comes down to what you choose. That's all it comes down to. So we have more join us. Hi, Angie. Hi, Anna. Welcome. So great to have you here. So what you really want to see, this is the funniest thing, but you really want to start seeing little spikes of new hair growth all over your head. It's a great thing to complain about to your hairdresser, right? I've got these little spikes growing and I don't know what to do with them. Like, they're kind of out of control. So I hope to hear that from you, right? If you're experiencing hair loss. So when you fix your hair loss problem, you also fix many other things. Like, you might have more beautiful skin. Your energy might improve. It might be easier for you to lose weight. Your menstrual cycle might begin to regulate. You might have reduced hot flashes or night sweats. You might sleep better. Like, all these great things start to happen because what you're doing is just you're helping your body to function better. So I'm going to share with you why your hair is thinning. I'm going to help bust a few myths, right, about hair loss and some things that just aren't true. And then I'm going to give you the next steps on what to do about it. Okay, and I expect your participation, so I'm glad you're here. So I want you to pay close attention because I'm going to ask you some questions along the way, especially if you've been connecting with me for a little bit. I bet you're going to know some of these answers, okay? And I'd love to share what you say rather than have me just talk. All right, so, if anything comes up for you along the way, just post it. I want to hear what you're thinking about. Any questions that come up for you, be sure to post it, right? Excellent. Okay, so we're going to talk about why your hair is thinning in the first place. And it's kind of a sad story. My beautiful mother, when she was, I saw pictures of her as a girl, right? And the pictures were so amazing because she had this really long, thick, red hair. It was just, and I never knew her that way. So when I saw the pictures, I was like, wow, Mom, your hair is so long and thick. What happened? Because her hair, my whole childhood, and even now it's even worse, was so thin. She always had a very short cut and had to have it styled to cover up the bald spots. So she said, well, when I was 18, I got really sick. And after that, my hair fell out. And come to find out, she's had this really low functioning thyroid her entire life. But nobody ever diagnosed it, questioned it, none of her doctors, even to this day, until maybe 4 months ago when I was at a doctor's visit with her, I finally, broached the subject, and the doctor said, oh yeah, she has hypothyroidism. And she said, what, why is that a problem? And so I went over all the reasons it was a problem. So for her, it was hypothyroidism, and I'm going to show you why that's such a big deal for thinning hair, right? And what you can do about it. So that's my story. My poor mom, she had this big, gorgeous, thick hair. And then at 18, it fell out and she had super thin hair for the rest of her life so far, right? And now she's in her 80s. So your hair is thinning because you don't have enough mitochondrial energy. So you don't have enough energy. So thinning hair is it's an energy deficient state. So think of it this way. If your body is trying to run from the tiger all the time or make energy just to survive, like, you barely have enough energy to get through the day, it's not going to grow hair because it doesn't have enough energy for that. Hair growth requires a tremendous amount of energy. And quite honestly, if you're just trying to get through the day, your hair is the last thing you're worried about, right? I mean, all the processes in your body have to happen first, and then you can grow hair. So really, a lot has to be working right for you to grow gorgeous, vibrant hair. Number two, the beautiful hair on your head is not necessary for survival. It's just not, right? You can survive being bald. We see a lot of bald people around and they survive great. My husband is one of them. He doesn't have much hair on his head, but he survives just fine. For men, it's a little bit different than for women, right? For women, it's really showing a lot more of an energy deficient state. So number three, and this is where you can start posting, guess which hormone you need to grow beautiful hair? Any guesses? What is our beautiful hair hormone? What do you think? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's progesterone. Are you surprised? And what hormone is deficient when there are hormone imbalances, right? Especially with PCOS and a lot of other symptoms of hormone imbalance. Progesterone. Okay, giving away a lot of secrets here. Number four, so there is a pathway when your hormones are metabolized. So we do the Dutch test here at Insulite Health, and many of our community members have done the Dutch test with us. In fact, we have a lot of them, actually. So you can see how your hormones are being metabolized. And there's one pathway that's called the DHT pathway, or the 5-alpha reductase enzyme pathway. And that's a more potent androgenic pathway. So testosterone can actually metabolize down that DHT 5-alpha reductase pathway, and that can cause hair loss. But I'm going to tell you why that happens. It just doesn't happen, okay? It happens because there's too much inflammation. And what happens is that DHT miniaturizes your hair follicles, so it shrinks them to the point where they become vellus. And vellus hair is that soft, fine hair, right, that you can't really see. And it causes thinning and eventual baldness if not reversed, okay? So it's because that DHT hormone actually shrinks your hair follicles. So DHT also causes downstream inflammation through what's called pro-inflammatory cytokines. And those cytokines actually attack healthy tissue. And this is caused by inflammation, okay? Caused by inflammation. Number 6, so triggers. Too much stress caused by all the hormone deal breakers. So I want to talk about those hormone deal breakers. I've talked about hormone deal breakers before, but I want to talk about them again so that we're really clear on what they are. So what is a hormone deal breaker for you? I'm going to put that up here. So what are your hormone deal breakers? And I bet if you think about it, you can come up with a few, right? Hi, Laurel. Great to see you here. So what are your hormone deal breakers? So I'm just going to start rattling them off. Okay, so hormone deal breakers are anything that eventually make you feel pretty bad. So let's see. Oh, yeah. So Karen, thanks so much for sharing. So she says, I've had PCOS since I was 16. I've always had long, thick hair. I turned 40 this year and started noticing my hair coming out in clumps. Oh, and now it's getting thin. I'm on Vitosa and metformin, but I started the Vitosa last year. I was wondering if the medicine could be causing hair thinning. Yeah, there are a lot of medications that can cause hair thinning. And I'm not going to talk much about medications here, but I'll answer you afterwards about specific medications. Thanks, Laurel. Great. Okay, PCOS and celiac and postmenopause. Okay, so let's talk about the hormone deal breakers. So sugar, right? Sugar causes a lot of inflammation. A lot of us are hooked on sugar, right? Sugar comes in so many different forms. I don't really have time to talk about it. That's a whole talk all by itself. In fact, that might be our next topic is sugar. So sugar causes a lot of inflammation, right? The wrong diet for you. So you're eating the wrong types of foods and potentially the wrong timing of foods. So the wrong types of foods, the wrong combination, the wrong timing, right? That's a huge hormone deal breaker. Toxins. Oh my gosh. So your poor liver, if your liver is overloaded with toxins, that's a huge hormone deal breaker. And I'm going to get into why in just a little bit, why that affects your hair growth. So toxins come in so many different forms. And I know I've talked about them extensively, but for hormone imbalances, they are huge. So one of the things that happens is if you're on a very carb restricted diet, so let's say you're on the paleo diet and you're really restricting carbs, or you're on a keto diet, what happens is you're not growing the right microbiome. So you're not growing the right bacteria in your gut. And what happens is you may already be progesterone deficient, and your progesterone to estrogen ratio may be already out of whack, causing a lot of symptoms. But now it gets even worse because you increase something called beta-glucuronidase in your gut. And that causes you to reabsorb estrogens that your body wants to get rid of. So that's why it's so important to include all the different types of macronutrients, proteins, fats, and healthy carbohydrates so that you can build the right microbiota, right? Healthy bacteria in your gut so that you can eliminate your estrogens, right? And that there's fiber plays a huge role in that as well, right? So the wrong diet, recirculating our own estrogens is a big problem. That's a toxin overload. Pesticides, herbicides, exogenous chemicals from all sources, right? Anything that comes from the outside. Your face cream could have something called xenoestrogens, which are really potent chemical estrogens. So, yeah, toxins come from so many places. Your shampoo, your, face cream, Thoughts can be super toxic. Relationships can be super toxic, right? So toxins come from a lot of places. So other hormone deal breakers, I mentioned relationships. So last week, I think I talked about relationships. So you can go listen to that replay. That'd be super helpful. But relationships that aren't serving you can be a hormone deal breaker. Nutrient deficiencies are a huge hormone deal breaker. So if you don't have the nutrients for cells to function properly, your body will actually kill that cell because it can't repair it, right? So it's really amazing how important nutrients are for every function in the body, especially mitochondria, right? And remember, mitochondria, good mitochondrial energy, the little powerhouses in your cell are what grow your hair, okay? Let's see. Maria says, what about using DIM to eliminate the wrong estrogens? You can use DIM, and they're not, so when you use DIM, you're actually supporting your liver to metabolize your estrogens differently. So that's, again, a topic for another video. But for right now, DIM can certainly be helpful if you know that you're metabolizing your estrogens down the more potent 4-OH pathway. That can be really helpful. And yeah, that's a good nutrient. I like that one. All right, so what are some other hormone deal breakers for you that you can think of? If you have anemias, like you're really deficient in B12, which is common, you're deficient in folate, you're deficient in iron, right? So if you're a woman who's regularly menstruating, super easy to be deficient in iron. And the test to run is ferritin, right? Really important. Let's see, what are some other hormone deal breakers? Anything that causes you stress, lack of sleep, huge hormone deal breaker. Like for me, that's the number one, is lack of sleep, lack of good sleep. Maybe it's that your life is just too busy. That's a huge hormone deal breaker. Maybe you're not drinking enough water. Lack of hydration is a big stressor and causes a rise in cortisol. So are you sort of getting the picture about what hormone deal breakers are? There are many of them. Okay, chronic infections, a chronic viral infection, a chronic bacterial infection, those are huge hormone deal breakers. Okay, yeah, absolutely, Laurel. If you, let me just post this real quick. So if you have the MTHFR gene defect, it can potentially be a hormone deal breaker. I mean, if you're not good about eating your green leafy veggies, then it can be a real problem, right? So eat your green leafy veggies, right? So those are some of the hormone deal breakers that I want you to start thinking about. Oh, wow. Okay, Crystal, this is a great question. So Crystal said, what should ferritin levels be to regrow hair? My ferritin was at 11, now it's 19 after taking iron supplements. Okay, so first of all, you want to use a heme iron because that's so much better, right? We absorb it so much better, and if you get the right form, it doesn't cause constipation. So remember, minerals are very hard to absorb, and as a result, you want to get minerals that are glycinated or chelated for better absorption, and iron can cause constipation, so just get a really good form. But you want your ferritin levels to be anywhere between 50 and 100. So you have a long way to go, okay? But just keep working at it. So you may want to up your dose. With ferritin, and if you're taking iron and you are not menstruating regularly, you want to get your levels checked on a regular basis, because it can cause a lot of problems if your levels get too high. So always check your ferritin levels at least twice a year if you're taking iron, okay? Great. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Velvet, for sharing. We're going to talk about facial hair growth in another video, and I might have one on that already, so I'll check for you and post that for you. But that's very important too, right? Because it's not the opposite problem, but it is still actually a testosterone metabolism down that DHT5 alpha reductase pathway. So it's an inflammatory condition. So dark terminal facial hair growth is still an inflammatory condition. So a lot of what I'm talking about for thinning hair is really good for male pattern hair growth, right? Okay, great. And Michelle, that's exactly what we're talking about, is female pattern baldness. So thinning hair, right? Exactly what we're talking about. So cool. Okay, so let's see, where are we? Okay, so we talked about our triggers, right? Those hormone deal breakers. Number 7, so these hormone deal breakers creates a chronic inflammatory response that actually controls the hair growth cycle. So I want to talk a little bit about what the hair growth cycle looks like. So the hair growth cycle has a cycle of rest called telogen. It has a cycle of growth called anagen. It has a cycle of death called catagen, and it has a cycle of shedding, which is exogen. So there are 4 different parts of the hair growth cycle. And number 9, the hair follicle is very, very sensitive. So according to Roland Peralta, who's an absolute hair regrowth expert, your hair follicle is considered a mini organ. And hair growth requires a tremendous amount of power. So even though you may have all the parts that you need to grow hair, you still need that healthy mitochondrial activity, which is your power supply, that is inside each and every cell in your body. So you've got to get well, right? So number 11, I'm going to give you now what helps your mitochondrial activity. So too much stress, which is our hormone cortisol, right? That's our stress hormone, our daytime hormone, and it's meant to fluctuate, right? So it gives us energy for the day, and then it quiets down at night so we can sleep. And that's when melatonin comes up. But if it's elevated all the time because you're just too stressed for all those hormone deal breaker reasons that we talked about, then it inhibits your thyroid stimulating hormone, right? Which is what your pituitary gland produces to get your thyroid going. And we know with PCOS, with symptoms of hormone imbalance, that our thyroid is oftentimes already sluggish, okay? And a lot of times we have autoimmune thyroid disease, Hashimoto's. So all the things that we're talking about to regrow hair will also help support your thyroid. So too much stress inhibits thyroid stimulating hormone, which then inhibits the production of T4. T4 is the hormone that your thyroid produces. So let's just give your thyroid a little love right now. Put your hand right over your thyroid and just give it a little bit of love, okay? Okay. So if you inhibit the production of T4 that your thyroid produces, too much cortisol then inhibits T3. And T3 is the beauty hormone. T3 is your active thyroid hormone, okay? That's what lands on all the different receptor cells to get your metabolism going, to make things happen. That's what's on the inside. That's what gets into your mitochondria and gives it that energy, okay? That's your T3 that actually is made from T4, and that happens in your liver. So your T4 is what your thyroid makes. And then in your liver converts T4, which is inactive, into active T3. So now you can do something. So you can see that if you are too toxic, if your liver is overburdened, you cannot make that conversion, right? So your metabolism is just going to be completely sluggish all the time. So T3 then becomes an inactive form of thyroid hormone, which is called reverse T3. And reverse T3 does nothing. So too much stress causes reverse T3, and it shuts down your metabolism and your mitochondria, those little cell powerhouses that you need to grow your hair. So I'm going to draw you a picture. So let's say you're really stressed, right? You're in a bad relationship, for example. Your stress hormone cortisol elevates. When cortisol elevates, insulin always comes up too, right? Our blood sugar hormone. Then your liver produces higher levels of thyroid binding globulin that binds to free thyroid hormone, which leads to lower levels of active thyroid hormone T3 and lower progesterone levels, causing estrogen dominance, right? Which creates all these bad problems. And progesterone is our beautiful hair hormone, right? Plus, it's necessary for a gazillion other things, for good brain health, for menstrual regularity, to feel calm and balanced. Progesterone is nature's Valium. So it helps us to feel so happy and good. So what questions do you have around that? That's kind of a lot of technical information, but are you following me so far? All right, so I hope that you'll post some questions as we go. So Kate says, my hair keeps falling out, my iron spine, I'm going through IVF for 6 years. Does have to do with all the treatments I'm getting? Yeah. So if you're going through IVF, Kate, it's very stressful on the body, and your body's already nutrient deficient. I mean, if you're going through IVF, you're not having regular menstrual cycles, regular ovulation, potentially. So you want to really focus on getting your body healthy, right? We just gotta slow down and get our body healthy. Yeah. Thanks, Velvet. All right. So I want to bust a few myths here. It's not about your DNA or your genetics. Certainly, we may be more predisposed. I mean, I had acne for years and years and years, bad acne. And that's that same pathway, right? That's that DHT 5-alpha reductase enzyme pathway. So very, very similar. I didn't have the hair loss, but I had acne. So same thing, right? I had to figure out what my hormone deal breakers were so that I could heal my acne. And when I did that, all sorts of other amazing things happened, right? So it's not necessarily about your DNA or your genetics. Number two, there's no medical cure, right? There's no one solution. There's no magic bullet to reverse hair loss. Number three, just blocking that DHT 5-alpha reductase enzyme pathway will not lead to new hair growth. It can help, right? It can definitely help, but it won't help you build hair. It won't give you the energy, right? But it'll help to block that potent pathway. You still could have inflammation, but it'll help that one pathway. So our number four, we're busting myths now, right? Using birth control to manage hair loss. Hormonal birth control will make hair loss worse because it blocks the production of your own hormones. Okay? It completely suppresses progesterone, completely. And we need that for beautiful hair, right? Number five, topical solutions. So there's so many topical solutions out there to regrow hair. They don't work, right? Because it's an inner cellular energy problem, okay? It doesn't address the underlying cause. All right, so if you've joined in, I'm so happy to have you here. Please feel free to say hi, check in, post any questions or comments. I love hearing from you. Please be sure to like the post, share the post with others, who are struggling with this condition. Be sure to post comments, whether you're listening now or later, and we'll definitely answer them. It's a great way to keep a conversation going and to support you to next steps. Because as we learned early on in this program, when we take action to solve a problem, we actually are happier, right? Oh, I love that. Love that. I'm going to just type that in here real quick. So when we take action to solve a problem, it creates happiness. Oh my gosh, that is so fabulous. I love that. Does that feel great? Ooh, love it. Thanks, Dot. You're so welcome. So great to have you here. Yay. And Maria says, what if you have no progesterone? Then you do things to build it, right? We can build progesterone. Yay. All right. We're gonna build progesterone. We can definitely do that. Okay, so we busted the myths, and now I'm going to talk about what to do. So what are next steps? So it's all about something called epigenetics. So you want to take a look at everything that influences your gene expression, right? All the things that you do every day. So we know that if we have thinning hair, if we've gained a lot of weight for no explained reason, if we don't have a regular menstrual cycle, if we have hot flashes or night sweats or acne or whatever the problem is, we know that we're not taking care of ourselves in the right way. That's all it is. So all over our website at PCOS.com, you can go under symptoms and, pick one of the symptoms that are bothering you. And you'll see there that I list out all the hormone deal breakers. And you just need to start working through them, right? There are all sorts of tools to work through them. And we have, lots of programs. Our detox program is fabulous for helping you resolve some of them. Of course, our PCOS 5-element system program is the best. We have the Freedom from PCOS program that we're going to be launching later this year. So there are lots of ways to begin to resolve your hormone deal breakers, a lot of ways. And then you can just, get in our program and I can help walk you through it. So again, we've got to take a look at those hormone deal breakers and start to resolve them. Number 2, right? Figure out, this is again, hormone deal breakers, what's messing with your blood sugar, what's causing you stress, what's causing your progesterone to go too low, what's causing those potent androgenic pathways to happen, what's causing poor estrogen metabolism, right? And start figuring that out. Number 3, you want to reduce stress, right? Everywhere you can think of. So just, you can start making a list right now. I mean, those things that are causing you stress, right? Can you share some of them right now? Like, just share with me some of those things that are causing you stress. You know what they are, right? Yeah, you definitely. So for me, I was just too busy. I was too busy, and I definitely had too much estrogen. I had a progesterone estrogen imbalance, too much testosterone, so I was irritable all the time. I ate terrible, right? That was a big hormone deal breaker for me. I didn't eat breakfast, and then I ate sugar, sugar and coffee. And so my moods were all over the place. I was fat, even though I didn't eat very much. And I was constantly irritable, right? Constantly irritable. Yeah, Dot says too busy, job loss. Yeah, too busy. Just going to share some of these. Thank you, Dot, for sharing. Yeah, definitely for me too. And Velvet, you're so welcome. So glad you're here. And Philippa, I love your name. I love all your names, but Philippa's kind of cool. This is wonderful information. I have postmenopausal hair loss. Yeah, that happens very often. And you know something that's interesting is that hair loss has it doesn't age discriminate. There are no age boundaries. So many women have hair thinning in their 20s. My mom had it in her, when she was 18. So a lot of the same symptoms happen with hormonal imbalances early in life as they do later in life. It doesn't matter. Like it's still a nutrient deficient state. You're still aging too fast, right? So if you have hair loss, it's a really big indication that you need to do something, because I guarantee you that hair loss is not your only problem, right? What other issues are coming up for you? What other symptoms do you have? It's not just hair loss, right? Are you with me here? So if you start taking a look at things, right? So for instance, if you're doing IVF, you have some other hormone imbalance issues that you need to address. I think, let's see, what other things have I seen? Yeah. So just take a look at some of the other things that you have going on, and you'll notice that, it's sort of a systemic thing, right? Your mitochondria really needs support, right? Your body really needs support. You got to decrease that inflammation. So we're going to reduce stress from everywhere you can think of. And then number 4, that's because all of the hormone deal breakers dysregulate the signaling that controls the hair growth cycle. Okay, really important. And then you want to take a look, number 5 is you want to take a look at your 2 hormones, right? That modulate your mitochondrial activity that we talked about earlier. So that's T3, so your active thyroid hormone, right? So again, when you do all those things, when you take care of yourself in the right way, now you can make enough T4 from your thyroid. You can convert it to T3 in your liver, right? We're going to love on our liver for a second, okay? And now your thyroid hormone is working well for you, and that will kickstart your mitochondria to grow hair, right? And then progesterone, right? So got to look for ways to build T3 and progesterone and modulate estrogen, right? So it's not oftentimes that your estrogen is too high. It's just that your progesterone is too low, okay? It could be that your estrogen is too high, but a lot of times your progesterone is just too low. And that happens when you're stressed all the time. So progesterone gets sacrificed if you're too stressed. So if you have a lot of hormone deal breakers in your life, you're not going to make progesterone. You're going to use that progesterone to make cortisol, estrogen, testosterone, everything but progesterone, okay? It's what's called the cortisol or pregnenolone steal. It steals it away from making progesterone. Does that make sense? So you just have to reduce the stressors in your life. Reduce those hormone deal breakers, okay? So let's see, number 6, got to replace missing nutrients. So, I just want to give the PCOS 5-element system a plug here. So that program is phenomenal because it helps you to do all the things that we've talked about, right? To eat the right foods, to eat them at the right time, to have the right combination of foods that teach you how to move for hormone balance, how to raise progesterone and lower estrogen and balance those out, lower cortisol, right? So it's you're learning how to take care of yourself in a hormonally balanced way. So, we teach about food, and we teach about movement, and we teach about sleep, and we teach about, you get nutrients, right? So we replace nutrients that you're missing. So all of that supports improved progesterone, In fact, there's even some progesterone support in there. There's the 5-alpha reductase enzyme blocking support in there. They're all the things that help metabolize your hormones down the right pathway. There's the great fiber that binds to toxins to get them out of your body. There's the whole package, right? Along with all the things that you learn for a lifetime of beautiful hair, but also beautiful health. So that's my plug for our amazing 5-element program. And then number 7, my last thing that I want to share with you is it's in your hands, right? So only you can restore your hair by choosing to support your body in the right way. And all of you here are looking for answers. You're doing some things that are helping you, right? You're exploring options, and just know that you can have beautiful hair again. I mean, we've seen it over and over and over again, right? And I just love it when the hair starts growing back in, and it's a problem because you have so much hair growth and you're trying to control it, right? What a great problem to have. So yeah, that's all I have for today. And do you have any questions? Thank you, Philippa, and thank you, Velvet. You're both so wonderful. I really appreciate your comments. Yeah, and you're welcome. And then there's another question here, and I just wanted Anastasia. So says I was taking 1,500 milligrams of metformin, saw male pattern baldness begin, so I stopped, and now my hair is growing back. Oh my gosh, that is so interesting. So, so you started taking metformin, and then your hair started falling out, and then you stopped metformin, and it started growing back. Am I understanding that correctly? So I'm not really sure what was going on there. It seems like there might be something else that happened. Maybe you changed something else when you stopped the metformin and that helped. So yeah, I'm just not sure about that, but keep the conversation going, Anastasia. Let me know what happened there and I can give you more information. So let's see, there was, oh gosh. If you have, this is a great question, Maria. If you have no ovaries, how do you build your progesterone? That's such a great question. Well, actually, your adrenals step in and build your progesterone. Yeah, so you don't have to rely on your ovaries to make progesterone for you. Your adrenals can actually make progesterone. Pretty cool, huh? So it's made from pregnenolone. Pregnenolone, so actually cholesterol is the mother steroid hormone that makes something called pregnenolone that actually then goes to make all the other hormones. So it can go to make progesterone, cortisol, testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, DHEA, right? So yeah, you're good to go, Maria. You just have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in the right way and sort of knocking down those hormone deal breakers. Hi, Padam, great to see you here. So Felipe asked what the program is that I mentioned, and it's just our program to help you heal from symptoms of hormone imbalance. So I will post, I'll post that link right now for you. It's right here, and then I'll also put it below your comment, Philippa, so that you can easily find it. And then, Gianna, thank you for your great question here. So it's just PCOS.com/order-5-element-PCOS-system. It's fabulous for just helping to keep hormones balanced, right? Helping those mitochondria to function properly, helping to decrease inflammation and address those internal hormone deal breakers, right? You still have to deal with the exogenous or, environmental hormone deal breakers, but at least you can really better support the inside. So Gianna asks, how do you know if you have inflammation? Well, that's a great question. So let's see. So blood work is a great way to tell. I like to use blood work. So some of the markers on your blood work that will tell if you have inflammation are high fasting glucose, hemoglobin A1C that's above 5, fasting glucose that's above 90. You want a group though, don't just look at one. You've got to look at a number of different markers. A big one is one called HS for highly sensitive, CRP for C-reactive protein. And if that's above 1, then you know you have inflammation. There's a marker called monocytes. That is a white blood cell. If that's above 7, you know you have inflammation. And then you can just look at your symptoms. You know, do you have symptoms that you don't like? And that's an inflammatory condition, right? So yeah. Do you, Gianna, do you notice any symptoms? Do you have hair thinning or other symptoms that you notice? You can post some and then I can let you know. But mostly it's, you know, elevated cortisol for too long, and that raises insulin and that creates an inflammatory cascade. All right, well, I'm going to sign off. Be sure to like and share and comment, and myself or our team will be sure to answer any questions you have, because we really want to help you regrow your hair and really solve any other hormone imbalance issues that you have. Okay, thank you again for joining in. I'm so grateful to have you here today. Bye, everyone.